Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I started recording before I forget it, because Peter
that's a
said,
good
make
idea.
sure you record tonight, so we better not talk bad about him. Oh, go ahead anyway.
My wife asked
can
me
we
who I'm
talk bad
talking to
about?
relative. What?
Well, I guess we'll wait around for a little bit more to see if we get anybody else coming, but if not, that means somebody on this screen gets to be president.
They just said
Eric.
Eric was president.
That's right.
Yeah.
I see. I know
Yes.
it's not gonna be this person. It's
Eric
not gonna
really
be
want to
this
be-
person.
I voted president for life,
Oh, shit.
and we just let Robert have it.
Term limits, term limits.
No presidente
Anyways,
for
it won't
life.
be
I don't
bad.
think so.
No, no term limits, no term limits.
There you go.
President for life.
No, no, no.
There are term limits built right
We'll
into
triple
our.
your pay, Robert.
I might be able to get a used film camera with that.
Yeah.
Nothing from
I
nothing.
wouldn't bet on
I
it.
don't even think you can get a cup of coffee with that. I mean,
I'll even go out in spring for a El Presidente T-shirt just for
there
you.
you go.
Oh, boy. Read Trish's post that I copied. I like that post, Trish.
Thank you.
How'd it go? I don't have it in front of me.
Basically, it said, don't let the donkeys and the elephants make you forget you belong to the lamb.
There you go.
Amen.
Yeah, I saw that. I
I
saw
like
that.
that.
That's cool.
But that's exactly right.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm gonna have to share that one.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. Last night was they had a festival out at Woodlawn Park.
Really?
Parking was a nightmare. At the last minute, my wow. Well, he's like a son to me. What do you call it? He called me. He's like, "Hey, Uncle Bob, I'm gonna be out there. You wanna go?" So I said, "All right, I'll meet you there." So I get there, and what's going on? They have a wrestling ring outside.
What do they have?
A wrestling ring. So they have
Really?
wrestlers. They had like 4 or 5 matches. So I'm like going crazy. I'm like, it's low light and it's getting darker by the minute. And all they have is maybe a stream of 5 bare bulbs out there over the ring. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna shoot in low light. I gotta keep them still. So that means high shutter speed, but
Sure.
and with a grainy. So, but it was interesting. I had a good time, you know. Not what I expected, but I had a good time.
What
That
are you
sounds like
gonna
fun.
use to denoise?
I don't
Yeah,
mind
exactly.
noise.
You
Yeah.
should bring them over and run them through my denoise, honestly.
All
What do
right,
you
Takes
got,
care of a
Trish?
lot of that. It takes care of a lot of that.
cool.
What do you use, Trish?
Topaz denoise.
Okay, I've got Topaz, I've got Neat. And then I think On One's got a denoise nodule too.
Yeah, I don't
How do you
really
like
like
the
on
results?
module, but
Noise.
and
Yeah,
I
that was
had
my
and I
Christmas
had
present last year.
what is it, alien skin, which it became now becomes
Anyways,
something
how
else.
do you like? How do you like the
But
results?
they have a really good denoise also. So.
Nice.
Oh, and I'll also, you know, you guys know how I like to shoot and no, well, I guess it's private property. If you think about it, like at a restaurant and stuff, you're not supposed to exactly be able to shoot there without consent, but it wouldn't be street photography, right? So,
Rules, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
the worst thing they'll do is take your camera, Robert.
all right, so I'm sitting there, and of course I've got the camera in front of me. I've got it composed. There's only one other guy in the restaurant, and he's sketchy looking at best. And no, I'm not stereotyping anybody. It just is. And he's got this beanie cap with the ball on top. So I'm like, well, that's interesting. Let me get a picture of him. So I've got my camera off to the side, and I'm taking a picture every so often. And after I'm done, you know, the camera's on, the lens cap is off. About 5 minutes go by, and this guy looks over, sees the camera, and he hollers out at me. He's like, "Hey man, can you turn that camera somewhere else? I don't want it pointing at me." I know it's on, but I'm like, "Sure, it's not on." "Well, can you turn it?" I said, "Since you asked so nicely, of course." So, you know, I guess the lesson was, watch what you're doing, you know, because this guy looked kind of mean.
Yeah, really, Robert, he might not appreciate that.
Yeah, but it made me wonder, okay, I'm not touching it, so why is he so worried about the camera? And I'm like, I'm glad I took his photo.
Maybe
Well-
he's a wanted felon.
I was
You
gonna
should
say, keep
look
your
on the
eye out for the
FBI.
wanted.
Yeah, the San Antonio Bear County.
I
wanted.
could use the reward. But anyway, it was, it struck me as very curious, even though I wasn't touching the camera. He was very conscientious of the fact that it was pointed right at him. You know, it was on the table, but it was just pointed right at him.
There are
Well,
people
especially
who
since you
get
had it
very
propped up
annoyed.
and aim, you know, you had it.
Well, yeah, it was in front of me, but off to the side, but aimed at him. Now, he did ask nicely, and I said, of course, bro, no problem, man. I said, why don't I put it in the bag? That way you'll be at ease. Then he apologized after the fact. He's like, it just freaks me out. I'm like, all right.
What you need to get is one of these, dude.
Oh,
This is called an arsenal.
arsenal.
It sits on top of your camera and plugs into your camera and just sits over here on the corner. Meanwhile, you're at the table playing with your phone. And when he says, "Can you move your camera and don't point it at me?" I'll say, "Sure." And you tap your phone. It just took a picture and you moved the camera.
Or you
Yeah,
don't
this-
even worry about
This
that.
operates your camera
Sneaky.
via the phone.
Fuji
Yeah.
has,
Unless you have an app. See, like my
Well,
Olympus,
yeah.
I have an app where I can shoot.
I
on
do
my
too.
phone.
Fuji's app doesn't work
Yeah.
too well.
That's what I
It's
heard. That's what I
terrible.
heard. It's not a very good app.
they're supposed to come out with a different app for Fuji, and I hope they hurry up and do that, because otherwise that's what I would have done.
My Canon
Well,
app
I've had
works
this for a
great.
while. I ordered it 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think I saw
It
your
just
thing
came
on
in.
Kickstart.
It just came in. Yeah, with
What?
Kickstarter. Yeah, 3
Wow.
years ago I ordered this thing, and on top of
Yeah,
that,
you
I
probably got a
ordered
good
Arsenal,
deal on it.
the original Arsenal. This is the Arsenal 2, okay, which came out before the original Arsenal. So I got an upgrade for free.
That
But
doesn't make any sense.
I know.
The joys of Kickstarter.
No, it's the
Oh,
Kickstarter.
Okay, if it's Kickstarter, that
And
makes sense.
because of the chip issues, okay, the chip issue was in here, it kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and they kept sending out emails saying, "We're sorry, but the chip has not been delivered yet." And then when the chip got delivered, it got sent back because it didn't work. So that's when they
That's
upgraded
nice.
the whole thing, and then they ended up with Arsenal 2. I really love it. It's great. So because I can do ISO, f-stop, shutter speed, everything from my phone without even touching the camera.
Wow,
So it is cool.
very
I'm
nice.
gonna bring it tomorrow, so you guys
I
will see it.
sacrificed it so you could have it.
That'd be great.
You get all the good stuff.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah,
guess
but-
we're stuck with just this few people. Nobody likes us anymore.
Where's Jack?
Oh, you guys are my
They don't like
favorites.
butterflies. Who knows?
I'm ready.
don't know.
Oh, yeah, I
I
know.
don't know. who-
Talk
Right.
bear.
I
You
just,
should
in
have
fact,
talked about
I got some
photographing bears.
butterflies too, so
Yeah, who doesn't like butterflies, right? You know,
Yeah,
All right, butterflies
Who
are
likes butterflies?
signs of
If
of
we, wa-
beauty.
if we want
They're
Jack, we
they're
need to have
symbolic.
butterflies on the nose of bears.
yeah,
That
that
would be
a
cool.
picture. Yeah,
I have a picture of a butterfly on my camera.
really.
That's fun.
I went into a butterfly house and I had butterflies all over me, and one was sitting on my camera, and my wife took a picture of the camera with the butterfly on it.
What are
With your
the,
cell phone.
the butterflies that are like all over the place now, the proboscis or whatever? what do they
Snout?
call those?
The snout butterfly.
yeah.
The snout, yeah, the little tiny ones.
Yeah.
For some reason, they are all over my oak trees, or at least last few days. I think they're gone
Really?
now. And if I hit the tree, when I reached up with a stick and I would hit the tree, and they would just swarm out.
Oh,
But there was
Maybe
like
they're not the
zillions
snout.
of them.
They're hanging
all
out in
over
the oak
the-
trees?
Hmm?
They're hanging out in the oak trees?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
I
Jack,
don't know if they
speaking the
were
devil.
mating, laying eggs. I don't know what they were doing.
Here's our new president. Our new president just showed up.
Yep.
Jack, you just got elected, dude. Didn't you know
welcome,
that?
Jack.
Yeah, you were here. You got
No, I saw the
volunteered.
chat and I know who was elected. It's Eric.
No, Eric's not here. It's the last person.
Eric's not
after
here.
7:30.
So-
It doesn't matter. He's
you.
elected anyway.
Nice moon, Jack.
I
You've
see.
been volunteered.
Are you
Well,
mooning
the
us?
reason I'm here is to see those butterfly pictures.
There you
No,
go.
that's what we're gonna do. And I was
Okay,
just
all
getting ready
right.
to tell Steve to go for it, dude.
You could put some butterflies right on top of that moon. You'd have a very creative photo.
I think butterflies
you
on
go.
the nose of the bear would be cool, like Winnie
Yeah.
the Pooh,
I like
except
that. Ken.
Grizzly the bear, Grizzly the bear, Grizzly the bear. I think my meat's getting.
Okay, so
Okay,
are
Steve, you
we
got the
ready to
floor, dude.
go? I
I'm
hope
just sitting here.
my screen share thing works. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Give this a try. Okay, let's see. This desktop is showing everybody there. Let's see.
There we go.
More than meeting. Oh, let's read your email.
That's
Yeah.
not what I want, though. What I want is this. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
It's your
That
backdrop.
butterfly there?
Oh,
Yes.
there's a
That's
butterfly.
great. That's great.
Yeah, okay. I want
Is
to
that a
start. with
butterfly or
the-
a moth?
It's a butterfly.
That's a butterfly.
I had these in a certain order and they're not in that order. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so this is what I wanted to start out with, a little butterfly anatomy here. So of course, butterflies are insects, so they have similar anatomy with other insects. So they have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. To start with the head, so the head has got antenna or antennae on it. The eyes, the proboscis, of course, which is that long sucker that allows them to suck up the sweet stuff.
Nectar.
Anyway, so the one thing that people may not be familiar with is these things called the labial palps. The palps are right in the front of the face, and the proboscis extends out from between them. And I'll show you a better picture of that on a real butterfly here in just a minute. So the forewings are the long ones, and they come off the thorax closer to the front. The hind wings are the more rounded wing that you see that comes off the thorax kind of toward the back.
Banana Jonas?
Let's see.
Huh?
Okay. And the main lines in each one of the wings is called a vein. So that's kind of good to know for reference. Now let's see if I can find that. I don't know why this thing changed the order here. But it did. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get to that. But I want to show you when we get to it. Let's go. Okay, so I'm calling this little talk Introduction to Butterflies. And so what I wanted to do is show several butterflies. There are actually 26 different butterflies here that I wanted to go through just briefly and point out some things that are characteristic of butterflies in general, as well as specific. So this is I believe this is a hackberry emperor. Now, one of the things that you notice about the hackberry emperor here is that it has eye spots. You see those round spots on the wing there. So they resemble eyes to a potential predator. So they're supposed to be to deter predators from eating them. So that's, well, I don't like it that this thing is out of order, but I guess we'll just have to work with it. All right, so that's a tawny emperor. So I was going to save the swallowtails to last, but this one came up. So this is one of the black swallowtails that we see flying around here. This is less common than the pipevine swallowtail. This is an eastern black swallowtail. And the way the sun is shining through this, I think it reminds me of stained glass windows in a church. And let's see what else. All right, let's go on to this next one. Okay, so this is a soldier. It's in the same family with the monarch and with the queen butterflies. And I haven't seen very many of these around. They're fairly rare. Queens are the most common. I see them all. It seems like you see them all year round, and the monarchs mostly in the fall. Anyway, so that is a soldier. Now, this is a dog face butterfly. You can kind of get a hint as to why it's called a dog face. Because it's backlit and you can kind of see that shape that's lit through that the forewing there. So the eye is dark and then you can kind of head and you can imagine that that long part there is a dog snout. So that's a dog face. Let's see what else. Okay, this is also a soldier. So in this view, you can see it looks a lot like a queen, except for this part on the hind wings. When I first saw these, I thought they were queens. It looked like somebody spilled some Clorox, some bleach on the hind wings. And this, can you see my pointer?
Yeah,
You can, okay. All right, on this area here on the hind wing, it just looks like it lost some of its color. Otherwise, it looks a lot like the queen butterfly. Okay, let's see. Like this. Okay, so this is another one of the black swallowtails. This one is a pipevine swallowtail. It is it's fairly common. You see them, especially in the spring and in the fall, but you can see them all year round. What's characteristic here is the 6 or is it 7? Yeah, 7 or maybe 8. There's one down there. 8 large orange spots on the hind wing there. So that's characteristic. You can usually see those when they're flying if you look closely and tell that it's a pipevine swallowtail. Okay, so this is a painted lady from the side. One of the cool things about this one is that you can see how fuzzy it is. See the fuzziness on the wing and probably on the thorax there as well. And you can get some idea of the detail in the wings. You can see the individual scales on the wing there. Some butterflies, you can really see the scales easily. Okay, so there's that one. I thought this one was a dog face, but the more I look at it, I think it's not. It's probably some kind of a sulfur. There are lots of yellow butterflies that are in the category of sulfurs. This particular one also is fairly sharp, and you can see the roughness of the wing surface there, with the scales. So when you look at butterflies, just from a distance, it looks like the wings are smooth and flat. In fact, most butterflies are not smooth and flat. These wings are fairly flat, but you can see they're not smooth. They look fairly rough, in fact. Okay, so this one is a red admiral. I see them mostly in the spring and in the fall. And of course, the characteristic with the characteristic, a red-orange stripe in the edge to the hind wings. Now, this is a queen. I took this one a few days ago. So the queens can actually come in various shades of brown, kind of cinnamon brown and even orange to some degree. But it's the same shape and very close to the same size as the soldier, but with its cousin, the monarch, being a little bit bigger.
Steve, how could you tell that was a queen as opposed to a soldier?
Oh, well, let's see. Let me go back to the soldier. Let's see. Okay, so there's the soldier.
He has a lot more dots.
On the back. Yeah, the queen has more dots, and these the veins are a little more prominent. Also,
On the soldier. Okay.
This one is particularly orange compared to the mostly brown of the queen here.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, now this is a giant swallowtail. These are fairly common. You can see them all year round, and they're fairly easy to spot because they have fairly distinct markings, the forewings and the hind wings. I wonder if there's a little bit of blur to this. The reason why I ask is because the swallowtails have a tendency when they feed to just keep their wings flapping, and they go at a fairly high rate of speed. So in order to get a good stop action, you need about 1/1000th of a second shutter speed. That seems to work, or faster. And you can see the shape of these antennae. They come up and they curve, and they have these tips that are kind of, I don't know what to call that, kind of segmented, perhaps. And if you look for the palps on this one, you really don't see anything that would look like palps. So anyway, so the proboscis just comes out of that part there. And I think those actually are palps, they're just extremely small. Let's see. Okay, so this is a relatively small butterfly and relatively uncommon. It's some kind of a crescent. It might be a pearl crescent, but I've looked up several crescent and they all look kind of alike to me, even though they say they're different. So, so it's a crescent of some kind. Okay, so this is a painted lady also. This painted lady from the top, and you can see how fuzzy it is also here. The fuzziness on the abdomen and on the medial aspects of the hind wings. So you mind if I use medial and lateral? So it's kind of darker terms there. So medial just means toward the middle. Lateral means away from the middle. So the fuzziness in this painted lady is medial. Let's see. Okay. All right. So this is a dog face again. You can see the dark coloration of the top side of the wings. It kind of outlines this head that looks kind of like a dog's head. Okay, now a monarch. So this so you can see the typical colorings of the monarch. It's mostly orange. And then toward the tips of the forewings, we have these. So there's usually this is a little darker. Anyway, but it's got the typical white spots along the edges of the wings and this very broad black band that's at the edge of the forewing. Very typical. Now, this is a male monarch, and I'll show you a female monarch in a moment here. Let's see, there's a female. Okay, so that's the female, and that's the male. So the way to tell the difference is the male has these kind of oval-shaped spots on the hind wings, and the veins are relatively thin. Okay, so let's take a look at that female. Okay, so no spot, no oval-shaped spot on the hind wings, and the veins are fairly thick. Let's see if I've got another one here. Okay, here's another male. So you can see the spots and the thin veins. Female, male. So now this particular butterfly here has these little white speckled things on there, and that must be fairly rare because I don't see them on most monarchs at all. So another interesting thing illustrated here is that the antennae can be moved up and down independently of each other. So you see the right antenna is up and the left antenna is down. So they can move them up and down. Not sure what the purpose of that is, but they can. Let's see this one. Okay, so on the male, they're both up in the same position. Okay, let's go back to this guy. Okay, so here's the male. Both the antennae are up, and the palps, you can see the palps right there. And the fuzziness on the thorax and part of the abdomen. Let's see. Okay, so this is a bordered patch. Bordered patches, it seems like they're relatively common, not as common as quite a few. Interestingly enough, the antennae here, what do you call that there? I don't know, it's like they're striped, like white stripes alternating, white alternating with dark. And you can see the palps here between the antennae. So I like these. I think they're really pretty. This was taken in the evening light, so it really enhances the orange color of this. And you can see the detail, the edge of the wing, and in here in the spots. butterflies are just so cool because they're just have so much detail, so much interesting things to look at in there. Now, this one is a common buckeye. This is one of the most striking butterflies that I've seen around. It's got the eye spots, got the 4 eye spots, 2 on the forewing, 2 on the hind wing. And then the orange, the characteristic stripes here and here, and the edge here and here. And these are relatively uncommon. I mean, I see them here and there, but not nearly as common as Gulf fritillary and the queens. These are really cool. I just love these. Let's see, where did I leave off now? Yep, okay. All right. So this is a Gulf fritillary. I wish I had them side by side because I've got, let's see, let me see if I can find that other Gulf fritillary here. No, that's not it. Gulf fritillary. Okay, so a Gulf fritillary. There are several kinds of fritillaries, and I'll show another kind of fritillary. So this is the underside of the wings. You can see how striking it is with the large white spots against kind of a brownish background. They're easy to spot. And with the sunlight shining on them, these spots even look like they're reflecting light, like they're almost silver in color. Excuse me. And then you can see the palps on this butterfly as well, just directly in front of the eye and right below the antennae. Okay, there they are, right there again. Okay, now this is a fairly unusual butterfly. I don't see very many of these around at all. Excuse me. There are at least 2 kinds of these angle wings. So the angle wings have the characteristic outline of their wings. So you can kind of know what they are by that. This particular one is called a question mark. And if we could flip it over and show you the other side of the wing, you'd see why. It has a distinctive white curved line and then a dot. And so it's called a question mark. This one was sitting on the lily pads on our little pond there. Okay, let's see. So I was going to save the skippers till last. So the skippers are a large group of butterflies. They actually are considered butterflies. They look a lot like moths. I remember my dad used to tell me those are moths. And but they actually are in the family Hesperidae, which is in the butterfly family. So the characteristic things about skippers is that they're kind of squatty, they're kind of thick-bodied. They have large, round, black eyes, and in most of them, they have short antennae. This one's got a little bit of pink color under the bottom because it's being reflected from this flower, from the sun out there. Now, this one I believe, and I'm not sure, I've looked it up several times. There's so many butterflies that look about like this. I believe this is an alfalfa worm butterfly. So anyway, if you're interested in trivia, that's a good thing to write down.
That's a cool photo with the colors, the pastel colors of the butterfly with the flowers there.
Yeah, thank you.
Very
So
interesting.
these are,
Yeah.
let's see, these are prairie verbena. That is feeding on right there. Let's see, I took this one back in 2010, I believe, when we lived over in Schertz. Okay, let's see, where are we? Okay, so this is a checkered white. I'm not sure there's much to tell about this, but you can see, just look at the detail in the wing there, though. You can see the individual rows of scales and actually the individual scales. A lot of butterflies are like that if you just happen to get a nice sharp picture. The other thing about this is this, somehow this eye came out really sharp. This one, I believe, was taken with a 100mm macro lens. Most of my butterfly pictures, at least for the last 7 or 8 years, I've been taken with fritillary.
There we go. Thanks, John.
And
Did you guys get lost?
yeah, No, you did.
All of a sudden, everything stopped.
My whole screen just went blank, went
Oh.
into the circle and started doing the little dance around the screen.
Sounds very
It's
entertaining.
like my internet froze.
Okay, all right, so this is a variegated fritillary from the side. This one, let's see, you can see the palps on this one, they kind of stick out prominently, come to a point there. Antennae, forewing, hind wing, let's see. Okay, so now we're back to the female monarch, male monarch. Sideways monarch, let's see. So now, I just love this one. This is so pretty. The orange and the just the way it looks. This is an American lady as opposed to the painted lady, which we saw a little while ago. These ones aren't very common either. The painted lady are much more common than these American ladies. They're just not as common, but they're so pretty. They have some eye spots along the hind wings, the fuzzy furry part, medial against the abdomen there. And you can see the palps right there, and there they are. And I just love this one. Let's see. More, let's see, okay. So this is a tiger swallowtail, another beautiful specimen here. They're large. This is one of the largest butterflies around. The only one that's larger than I know of around here is the giant swallowtail that I think I showed before. This is so pretty with the blue here on the hind wings and the tails. There's more than one tail on the swallowtail. Just beautiful. And you can see again the fuzziness, the furriness there on the medial part of the hind wings. And you can see some of the individual scales in the blue part there. So pretty. They're not very common at all. I wish they were more common. I'd love to take more pictures of them. Okay, so this is the Gulf fritillary. So we had a variegated fritillary, and the underside of the Gulf fritillary had all those white spots that were there. So I believe this is a male. I didn't have a chance to look this up. The female is orange also, but it's much more subdued and actually very pretty. Okay, so you can see the palps in the front there, head, thorax, abdomen. All right, let's see. Okay, so this is a variegated fritillary from the top. This also, I think this is really also a very pretty butterfly. Lots of detail. This one came out very sharp. And you can see some fuzziness on the thorax and the abdomen. And these aren't very common either. Anyway, but they're fun to see and fun to look at. Okay, now this one is unusual. It's not like any of the ones we've seen so far. It's in the longwing family. This is called the Julia longwing. Characteristically orange, and it's called longwing for a reason. Obviously, the wings are pretty long. The eyes are huge on this one, as you can see when you get close there. You can see the palps and of course, the antennae. Let's see. Okay, now this is a queen. This is a little bit unusual look for a queen. Queens can be anywhere as dark as, golly, what can I compare it to? Dark maroon, almost like a dark maroon. And some of them are brown, like that one with the open wings, with just kind of cinnamon brown. Now this one is almost orange, but again, you can see the detail. You can see the rows of scales in here. And it seems like, and it's not, I don't know why. Sometimes it seems like I get a very sharp picture of a butterfly and I zoom in like that and I can't see the scales, and sometimes I can. Probably just because it's a better photograph. I just got a better photograph of it. Okay, so that's another example of a queen. Okay, so this is the snout. This is the American snout butterfly. The one that we've been seeing for the last 6-8 weeks, whatever it is, flying around in the hundreds and the thousands. Excuse me. So typically, of course, you don't see the detail as they fly by. They just look kind of dull, not very impressive looking things. But when you take a look at them close up, you can see why they're called snout butterflies. It's a huge thing in front there that looks like a big nose. But those are actually just exaggerated palps. Big, big, long palps. Let's see, what else have we got? Okay, so this is one of the small butterflies that flies around here. This is probably no more than a half inch, half inch tall. This is a gray hair streak. Now the hair streaks typically have these little things hanging up the back of their hind wings here. And hair streaks typically have this shape of an eye, kind of an oblong eye. And the antennae also have this alternating white, black sort of tip to them. And the tip looks like a match head to me. Anyway, you see these flying around, and they fly around very erratically, and then they stop for a minute and feed, and then move on. Let's see. Okay, so that's a gray hair streak. Okay, this is another look at the snout butterfly. So you can see this one looks a lot plainer than that other one. The other one almost looks silvery and silvery white. This one I think is more typical. But you can see the orange in the forewing, and it's just kind of a dull gray brown in the hind wing. You can also see that this particular butterfly has its antennae down. All right, let's see. Now this is also a butterfly that's not very common. Has anybody seen this butterfly before in the garden or anything where you live? I've only seen it once, and it was kind of fluttering around close to the ground, close to the bottom of the plants. This is a what do you call this? Anyway, I can't remember the name of the flower here, but the
The
butterflies. What?
Is that milkweed? Looks like milkweed to me.
No, it begins with an A.
Hmm.
I'll
I
think
don't
of it.
know.
I think of it. Anyway, this is a common mestra. And it took me a while I just looked that up, white butterflies, and it came. So you can see, again, you can see the palps. And this is another butterfly that has the alternating white and dark on the antennae, and these antennae are down. Anyway, not common at all. Let's see, where are we? Okay, so this is a very small butterfly, as you can see, but its size compared to these little flowers. Oh, I can't think of common flower around here that begins with an A. Anyway, I'll think of it. This one appropriately is called a little yellow. And you can see the detail in there. And the kind of the fringe, the fuzzy fringe on the edge, there's several butterflies that have that little fringe there. And you can't even see the head on this butterfly because he's jamming his head down in there to get the I don't know why I can't think of things tonight, but yeah.
Nectar?
That's it. Yeah. Okay. So this is another example of a skipper. Believe it or not, this skipper is pretty large, but you can see he's got kind of the thick body, the large black round eye. The antennae are a little bit different. They kind of have this 90-degree angle at the end. Now this one very appropriately is called a white striped long-tailed skipper.
That eye is amazing.
Pardon,
Mhm.
the eye.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
eye
it
is.
I
like,
think
oh my
that must be the
goodness.
way the light's being reflected off that eye to give it that
But
look
it's
to it.
large compared to some of the other ones that we've seen. This one is
Pardon?
very large. Compared to the others, this one seems to have a very large eye. I don't know if it's just the coloring, but it seems
about-
larger scale wise than what the other ones were.
Yeah, its total length is pretty long. Sorry
Yeah.
about that phone ringing there. Let's see, what else was I going to point out about this? It seems like I don't see these very often, just in the fall, perhaps. I took this picture last week, maybe 10 days ago. It actually came out pretty good.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I actually saw myself.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's great.
thank you.
A
Okay.
lot of
and
good detail
not
there.
least in
Yeah.
this group. This is called a sleepy orange. Now, this is quite a close-up here. I cropped this down for some reason, but you can see, again, you can see the texture of the wings made by the scales. The veins, you can see that the veins are elevated because of the shadows that are there. So the light is kind of coming tangential to the wings, and so it makes the veins stand out nicely. Nice fuzzy in the body there.
Are these
Yeah.
all the same camera, Steve, or these are all different cameras, different lenses?
Well, I used two cameras.
Uh-huh.
The 5D Mark IV and the 5DS. I like the 5DS because it's got the 50 megapixel full frame sensor in it. And so if I take a picture of something that's fairly small in the frame,
Mhm.
I can bring it in a computer, I can crop it down, and it still stays very sharp.
And these are macro prime or zoom lenses that you're using?
I'm sorry, what?
The lenses, are they prime or zoom or?
Oh, yeah, this one. Well, in the past few years, I've been using my 100 to 400 zoom lens
Okay,
because, that and the 50 megapixel full frame sensor, I can get a pretty good picture at some distance and then crop it down in a computer and it's still very sharp.
yeah, that's
As I said, I used to use my 100 millimeter macro, but you have to get fairly close to the butterfly.
okay, that was kind of my question was, yeah, macro versus using a zoom. But yeah, the detail on this is amazing. That's great.
Yeah, it is. It's funny, I can take 3 or 4 pictures and, of the same butterfly. And one will be sharp and of course the next one won't and the next one won't. But some of that is, the wind blows, the butterfly moves. I have some, camera shake with my own hands. And so there's lots of reasons why one comes out good and one doesn't.
Okay, yeah, I tried to get pictures of those. I told you the snout butterflies were all over the trees, and some of them were low enough that I could kind of get a picture, but I couldn't seem to capture one without it. They were real flighty. Pardon the pun.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that snout nose that I just had here. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, they
Yeah,
blended real well on the tree. They
and they seem to not stay in one spot for very long, but you were saying
no.
they're all over the tree.
They're really, yeah, there were literally hundreds on, we have 3 oak trees in the backyard and they were on all of them.
Wow.
And if it was pretty easy to disturb them and they would just flutter. My 5-year-old grandson was over and although he 5-year-old, he was more interested in the stick that I was using than in the butterflies, but I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Butterflies are cool. Any questions about any of these or anatomy of a butterfly? How to tell a male from a female?
I have a picture. I caught a picture of a monarch. Just coincidentally, I didn't know we were doing this night, but I caught a picture with my phone. I was thinking maybe I could share my screen and you could tell me some details about it. It was fluttering. I think it was dying, maybe end of its lifespan, I guess.
Yeah. Sometimes.
But so I was able to catch it when it was sitting still.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll stop sharing. You want to share?
Yeah, can you see that okay? No?
No, it's just dark.
Why is it not? Let me try it again. How about now?
Okay.
Yeah, nice picture.
So yeah, that's we were talking about the iPhone is all about the processor, right? It's all about the computer. So yeah, it tends to take some really pretty pictures.
Which version iPhone do you have?
I've got the 12 Max Pro.
Mm-hmm.
because it has marginally the best camera in the 12 series.
Yeah, so this is a female. You can tell by the wide,
Mhm.
wide
Stripes.
veins and the lack
Uh-huh,
of that oval shaped spot on the hind wings there. That's a pretty
Okay,
good shot.
okay.
You know,
okay.
the thing about butterflies, because they don't stay still, or even, and when they spread their wings wide, often they're not
Yes.
completely wide, or they spread them wide and immediately bring them back. So
Yes.
it's hard to get a picture of a butterfly with its wings completely spread so that you can get it in focus from wingtip to wingtip,
Yes.
you know, and head to the end of the abdomen there.
Well, this was a little bit cheating because the poor thing was dying.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was, on its back and fluttering around. So I lifted it gently onto the table here
Mhm.
and kind of spread its wings out so I could
Oh.
take the picture. And it would sit there, she would sit there for a few minutes and then she would fold over. So I got a couple of shots. This was the best one.
Yeah, that's pretty. I like the way the color looks so yellow. It's
That's,
kinda-
yeah, the color was popping out, but yeah, that, and I see what you're talking about too, what do you call the antennae?
The antenna, yeah,
Yeah,
one antenna, two antenna, you know, just.
yeah, the way that they're kind of curved and going in different directions at the same time there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I
Cool.
didn't realize that till I started taking pictures of butterflies and noticing
Yeah.
things like that. So if you like, have I bored everybody to death, or would you like to see some more pictures of
I don't
butterflies?
mind seeing more. You know what I have noticed, Steve, is that I think the key to good butterfly shooting is a couple of things. Number one, sunlight is your friend. Number two, a high shutter speed and a shallow depth of field, but not so shallow that the
Yeah,
antenna
not
are
too
in
shallow.
focus, but the tail is not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I use F9. I've been using F9 for a while.
Okay,
yeah,
I've
okay.
decided that that's a good compromise so that you don't have so much depth of field that you have a cluttered background, you know,
right,
but you have enough depth of field that most of the butterfly, most of the time is in focus.
right. Yeah, I think it makes a difference.
It does. And you're right. Sunlight is your friend.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I
share a
didn't-
picture of, this is one of the ones I got in Colorado. And I had never seen one before. Can you see that?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a giant swallowtail, but
Well, it's a sphinx.
oh, it's a sphinx moth. Oh, okay.
It's a sphinx moth, and
Did you do it?
I
full
always call
screen?
them hummingbird moths because it flaps its rear wings conversely to the front wings.
Mhm.
Oh,
It's got two sets of wings. Then these back wings will go one way, and these will go the other. It's almost
you-
like a helicopter. So they kind of do this. And I'd never seen one before. And this is like I'm sitting in front of my computer screen, and that's where he was. He was
John,
probably
he's-
less than 12
we're
inches away
seeing-
from me. This is with my phone.
Nice.
So, and I had to be very, very quick because he was all over the place and between
Yeah,
me
they're
and the
fast.
flowers and trees. But
Yeah.
I had never seen one before, and I had to go look it up.
Can you click
Oh,
on one of those to
In
make
fact,
it
my
bigger?
waitress told me what it was.
Really?
I'm
Oh,
I'm
cool.
only seeing the
got it.
Lightroom view. Is there like the full?
You can see
picture?
it's got a huge proboscis, doesn't it? Sticking out.
They're it's very long.
Yeah.
And when he sticks it out,
Uh-huh.
it's probably 4 inches.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
was reading about these the other day because there was some in
Because
my.
he's sitting here on this flower and he
Mhm.
sticks it down into the bottom corner flower.
Okay.
And then he just went away. But I know it's a moth because it's got these huge black eyes with short, and we had this discussion the other day about antenna.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a butterfly, but no, it's a moth.
Yeah.
So I was going to hope you were going to talk a little bit the difference between a butterfly and a moth, but
I don't
You
have
didn't.
pictures of moths.
Well,
But-
that's why, see, I consider skippers moths because they're furry. Most
Mm.
moths are furry. Most butterflies are not furry.
And I
But-
agree with you on that moth. I agree with you that it's a moth. Now, that one I sent you recently where I said I'd never seen it before. And that's got to be a moth. But
Yeah.
it was out in the middle of the day and it didn't have fuzzy
It was
antennae.
at lunchtime. Or was it breakfast? No, it was breakfast time. So it was like in the morning. We were getting ready to leave Hot Springs, Colorado. And we were sitting out on the deck having breakfast, and there's a big flowers along the wall, and they were just flying back and forth.
Mhm.
And they look just like hummingbirds. They're so fast, and the wings flap so fast. They look like hummingbirds, and they call them hummingbird moths.
Yeah, I
And
heard that.
I've seen videos of that, but I've never seen one myself.
Yeah, I'd never seen one before either. I have heard of them and I've seen them flying in videos like you have, but I've never seen one and Susie pointed it out to me because she says, "Did you see that?" And I said, "No." And so she said me start watching. She says, "Start watching," because they were going from the tree to the flower to the tree to the flower.
Hmm.
So and the trees had flowers on them, so it was couldn't decide which one it was. It was petunias that were hanging on the wall there. It's kind of cool.
Would you like to see more butterflies?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do the screen share thing again. Let's see. Okay,
Here, I thought we were done.
pardon?
That's we're done.
Yeah, anyway, this is my favorite picture of a monarch butterfly. I don't remember when I took this one, but you know, this is kind of the holy grail of pictures of monarch butterflies. So it's in focus from wingtip to wingtip and from top to bottom and just everywhere. It's just hard to do this. I took so many pictures of monarchs with, you know, because they open their wings and then they immediately close them unless you happen to snap the shutter release right at the right time. But now this was last fall. So as the weather cools, you'll see that butterflies will sit sunning themselves. You know, especially in the late afternoon as the air is getting cooler, they will sit on a flower, aim themselves toward the sun, and just sit there with their wings spread. So I think I just got lucky on this one. So as you can see, this is a male. It's got the kind of the oval shaped spots there and a very thin veins. I can't think straight. Okay.
Hey,
here's
Steve?
another- Pardon?
Where do you take all of these?
In the backyard, mostly. We have a lot of flowers that attract butterflies.
got
but
it,
in
Robert.
particular,
He's been
And-
trying to get back in. I was just going to text you, John.
yeah, so it's the main thing is the flower that this is on, although it doesn't look very impressive because it's kind of late in the fall and they're kind of dying, but it's a Mexican milkweed, otherwise known as butterfly weed.
Mhm.
And so so these seed pods, they open up and they have those typical milkweed seeds that float around in the wind and land everywhere and sprout everywhere in the yard. Anyway, so this is a female. Again, you can tell by the thick veins and the lack of the oval shaped spot. Now, this is one of my favorite pictures also. You know, sometimes you just get lucky. And this is kind of late in the afternoon. As you can see, the color is kind of subdued to these butterflies. And I happen to get lucky and get that one wing of the butterfly behind seems to be in just as much focus as the butterfly in front. Anyway, so it's most of the time, like during the summer and the spring, it seems pretty unusual to have two butterflies feeding so close together. They just don't seem to like to do it. But in the fall, when there are so many butterflies, like Trish, you were saying there are bunches of monarchs in your backyard. A couple
Yes,
weeks
and
ago.
soldiers, monarchs,
blue mist, in large plots, and the butterflies all over.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's amazing. We just planted that this past spring, and what we did last year was we decided to build a pollinator bed. It didn't end up being a bed, it was just kind of an area that we're sort of randomly dropping pollinator stuff in the ground, and
Mhm.
the milkweed definitely brings the monarchs and butterflies, but I feel like the Greg's Mist really is kind of seems to be more popular, at least in the fall. It's
Yeah,
just
oh, I
going
agree.
absolutely nuts. And then I have a bunch of pentas, near that too, and they like that. So
Mhm.
if you've got stuff they can eat, they're gonna be there. That's just all there is to it.
Mhm. Oh, the name of that other flower was lantana. It doesn't begin with an
Oh,
A at
yeah.
all. So,
Yeah.
Lantana. Anyway, so that seems to be pretty popular too.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So here's another monarch, and you can see the scales again, and you can see places where the scales have come off, probably where the butterfly, took off and just banged into something, lost some of its scales.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sometimes you get them hanging upside down like that.
I remember when I was a kid, you used to catch them and you'd have the scales all over your fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I never
it comes right
realized
off.
they come off the butterfly.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Okay. Here's another one. This one's a little dull. I don't know whether it's because of the brightness of the sun or just because as butterflies get older, they do seem to what's the right word? Lose their
Are they less brilliant in color?
yeah, less brilliant. They just kind of fade. Yeah. Oh, here's another male with a nice dark background with one antenna up. Another male. This one was taken last fall, and you see how striking the colors are. This part in here in the hind wing, and that it can be as dull as just almost white and gray. Is so yellow in this particular one. I'm not sure why. It might have been just a recently hatched, from the cocoon. That may be why it looks this way. But I've seen a few, and not very many, that look like have that coloration to them. Now, okay, so this is a queen. And
How
so
can
you-
How can you tell it's a queen from when the wings aren't open like that?
let's see. Let's go back to that. Okay, so here's a monarch. Let's find a better monarch. Okay, so this one has really typical monarch colors. So it's kind of a beigey yellow in the
Yeah.
hind wing, and then the orange in this part of the forewing, and then kind of the more beige. Yes. Okay, and then compare that to the queen. So there is some variability in color in the queens, although in some of them, they're just kind of a dull brown almost all over. But the really cool ones have this dark area here. And when I say cool, I just mean they're striking and really pretty. The dark area here that kind of fades gradually into the lighter color, kind of a tan, kind of a light brown there. And the forewing is this kind of a tan orangey color. Yeah, so that's a very typical look to the queen from the underside of the wings. And it's got the same spots on the body, the white spots on the black body that the monarch does. So here's another queen, kind of with wings spread, a little bit of backlighting on that one. This one is really pretty. Nice contrast in this one. You can see the veins well up here on the forewing and the hind wing. And you can see the fuzziness on the palps there. Let's see here. Okay, and then we're back to a monarch. Okay, now we're back to the queens. You can see how orange this queen is. Some of it's the lighting, I'm sure, but some of it is just this queen was just much more orange and a lot less brown than that other queen that I was just looking at there. Here's another one, may actually be the exact same butterfly, but you can see how kind of yellowish orange it is.
Mhm.
And this one is almost yellow in its coloration. So there's a wide variation in color in the queens. And I'll show you, I've got another one here where they're almost always are just completely orange. Now here's one with us where the lighting is really tangential and you can see the texture of the wings really well. You see
It's
those
really,
lines.
it's really
of-
sharp. I like that. Yeah, it's really
Thank you. Yeah,
sharp.
it came out pretty sharp. Some of them do, some of them don't come out sharp.
So
But-
the background, when you, like the other ones that were dark in the background, you got the kind of brown, is that just that's just the out of focus area?
Mhm.
Or did you put something behind it?
Oh, no, this could easily be our back fence.
Okay.
That's in the background there.
Okay.
You know, it
Yeah,
could
I've
be-
seen techniques where people put like a black or brown or something
Mhm.
sheet, behind, a card or something.
Yeah.
When they're doing macro.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never tried that with butterflies because they move around so much.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
so
yeah,
fancy.
yeah, yeah. You'd have to wait for it to come back. Yeah.
Unless you have a really big black background or something, that you could just put it behind all your flowers or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see, okay. Right. No, I wanted these to be in order, but this is another monarch
I like
that's
this.
backlit. You can just see the sun shining through it. I like that. Let's see. Where am I? Oh, there's the backlit. Okay.
Okay.
Same butterfly backlit. Now you can, so this is a queen, and you can see that it's just kind of a dull brown all the way across from side to side. And I don't know if this is just what happens as the queens get older, or maybe one is a male and one is a female. I don't know how to tell male from female in the queens, but I have a hunch that because of this big blob thing right here, there's maybe a male similar to the monarchs. But I don't know. I haven't looked that up yet. Let's see. Sorry for losing my spot here. Okay. Again, another just kind of dull brown queen. So now here's the queen with a lot more color to it, almost orange, hanging down like that. Let's see. Here's another queen where the color is almost orange. And this one has those white outlines kind of around the veins. Another thing that's fairly unusual, but you see it once in a while. And again, I have a hunch that this black spot here means it's a male. Same butterfly. This may be the same butterfly also, but you can see the white detail along the veins. As far as I know, that's fairly unusual because I don't see it very often. Another queen. Another queen. This one's pretty. It's fairly sharp against the gray background. And you can see the legs and the antennae. Probably the same one. Another queen, mostly brown. See this, this one's not very sharp. It looks pretty sharp when you don't blow it up.
Mhm.
And the face parts and the legs, they look pretty sharp, but sometimes it just queen. This one's the best, I think. It's pretty sharp. Pretty sharp wingtip to wingtip. I'm sorry, some of these are repeats, and I probably meant to come back and pull some of these out. Now, so this was a cocoon. You can see the cocoon down there attached to the twig. So we brought that in and put it in a jar. And then one day, of course, this happened. Butterfly came out. Now you see how yellow this is? The color is, it's just so yellow compared to the most of the monarchs. Yeah, so this is a monarch. So I'm thinking when you see a monarch and it's mostly yellow color like that, that is probably a recent arrival. So this is a monarch. I didn't zoom in on this just because I like the way it looked with the green background. Now, this is my granddaughter. She figured out really quickly that when there are a lot of butterflies around, all you have to do is pick some butterflies and hold them in your hand, and you can get a butterfly to land in your hand. So this was last Christmas. Now, all the kids were over. And so this is a queen. Let's see. Here she is trying to lure this queen onto her flowers. And here she is proudly displaying her queen that she got there. Okay. You know, this is blue mist. And again, this butterfly seems to be, it must have just come out of the cocoon because of its colors. But this is the Greg's blue mist, or just blue mist that
Yeah.
that Trish has been talking about. Very attractive butterflies. There's another one. Okay, another queen. I think I'm going to go ahead and move on to. Oh, here's something I'm going to show. Let's see. Oh, okay. So there's a monarch egg. If you were wondering what a monarch egg looks like, that's what it looks like. Really tiny. So you can tell when you see a female going from plant to plant, and her abdomen is curving down, and I'll show you some of that in a minute here. She's laying eggs, and usually she'll only lay one egg at a time. Oops, sorry about that. Uh-oh, now what happened? I think I'm going to have to start this. There we go. There's a queen. And well, there's a close-up of a monarch. You can see how fuzzy they are, and the white spots distinct from the black. The palps are there. The proboscis, the antennae are angled down. Monarch. This one you can see is a little scratched up, but you can also see the detail in the wing with the rows of scales. Backlit queen. I love the backlit ones. Backlit queen. That's probably several in a row here. I wanted to show a female monarch here. I have a feeling it's back this way. So a female monarch laying eggs. So injury to the wings in butterflies is actually fairly common. You can see in this guy right here, he's kind of pretty banged up. Got a hole there and scratches here. And some of them have large pieces of wing hanging off or missing. Another very yellow customer there. Queen. Oh, okay. So this illustrates something interesting about the monarch. You see the way the wing kind of folds there, kind of folds down around the abdomen. So the monarch's wings don't hinge right here where you'd expect them to. They kind of hinge right along here. So if you look closely at them, you know, when they're opening and closing, it just hinges right along this aspect of the wing here, instead of hinging just right here where it attaches to the thorax. So watch for that if you see that. Now here's a really rugged looking, that's not as sharp as I was hoping, but you can kind of get the idea of not only are the wings not smooth, they're fairly, they're not flat either. They kind of have ridges to them along the veins. And when the sun is just right, when it's kind of tangential to the wing, that really brings that out. Let's see, where are my females? Another male. Okay, well, this shows on the queen the same thing. You can see the rows of scales. This one also, rows of scales. Okay, so here's a female.
Oh, yeah, she's laying eggs.
Oh,
Yeah, so she's bringing her abdomen way down and laying an egg on that stem there of this. This is the butterfly weed. You can see she's a little faded. Her colors are not very bright, but you can see she's got the wide veins that are typical for the female. Now, I don't know. I did something wrong here too. Let's see. There we go. Now we're back. Female. Female. Male, okay. Female. Female. And you can see how faded this one is. You know how brilliant and bright the colors were on some of them, with almost yellow here and bright orange here. So, and the female with the typical wide veins there. This is also a female, but she's not laying eggs. But you can, again, you can see how the wing kind of bends around underneath the abdomen there. Female. And you, I mean, you can see them doing this if you just, you know, follow closely and watch closely, you can see that happening. Let's see. Another nice detail one with the tangential light. You can see the ridges and the wings. Of course, so this is a male. One of the things that this illustrates is that the butterflies can actually extend their wings out for more than 180 degrees. You can, this one is a little lower than this one. It's kind of likes it to wraps itself around there a little bit. Here's a queen. All right, let's see. I'm going to try to get to the, okay, there's another wing showing the detail. Oh, wait.
Steve, I can
wings.
definitely say you have more butterfly pictures than I do.
I've got tons, thousands. Okay, all right, so this, this is actually an albino monarch. Believe it or not.
Wow.
There it is, yeah. So apparently this is like 1 in 100 million monarchs are albino like this. So this one just, I mean, I got lucky. Imagine how lucky just to see this thing. I mean, for it to visit, let alone see it, and let alone get a picture or two of
A
it.
picture.
Either one of these pictures is especially great. But man, I'm grateful to have a picture of such a rare find here. Let's see, let's get to the soldiers here. This is some really good detail, but not sharp. So of course the colors in the wings are determined somewhat by light. You know, if it's cloudy versus sunshiny over there, and how old the butterfly is. Okay, so this is a soldier, and again, I haven't had a lot of experience with soldiers. So you say you're getting a lot of soldiers, Trish?
Well, maybe I'm not, because I'm confused what the difference is between a soldier and a queen.
And a queen? Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm seeing there are wide veins on this one.
Mhm.
I mean, I see that's a male, that's pretty clear to me. But the queen and the soldier, I'm not figuring out what the difference is.
Yeah, so I believe this is a soldier because of this swath of whiteness around the black veins in the hind wing here. Let me see.
Okay, so for example, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to hold up my phone. I hope you can see it without too much glare. This is a picture from my backyard.
Mhm.
I don't know if you can see it well. Let me turn off this other light. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
see that very well. If that's
No,
a,
can't really see that well.
is that a male or a female? I mean, it's on my other computer. That's why I really can't.
Now, it's important to distinguish, so there are monarchs, queens
Yeah,
are
I
different
can't tell if
species.
it's a soldier
Yeah,
or, can you see it?
I can't see it very well, Trish.
Okay, all right, never mind.
And so this is a soldier from the back. You can see it.
Email it to him.
What?
Have Trish email it to you.
Oh, yeah, why don't you do that?
Yeah, I should do that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna text it to you, actually. And this is a picture of my other computer screen, but it'll give you an idea. All right, off it goes. Okay. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, I'm looking for my other soldiers. I had some soldiers that I put in here. Hmm. Well, I don't know why I don't have my soldiers here. So this is a queen, one of those really orange queens, as opposed to brown. Backlit queen. Female monarch. I don't know. I've got some really nice pictures of soldiers. And I just added them last night to this. I thought I added them to this file. Well, okay, we're out of luck. Because I don't see them. Anyway, that's just me transferring that recently hatched monarch to another. Where'd I put it? Oh, I put it on the clothesline there, so it could dry out and get ready to fly. This is a iPhone picture. iPhone 12 takes pretty good pictures. And here's a picture of lots of monarchs. This was a mural done over at the La Cantera over there. And here's several butterflies together, you know, in the fall. So that's a soldier. I can't figure out where my soldier is. Here, I'll just go through and see if I can find them. Well, I have lots of pictures of monarchs, as you can see, lots of pictures of queens. And I have several pictures of the soldier pictures I got were last year in November. And I don't think I ever saw any before, unless I just mistook them, you know, for queens or since. Haven't seen any this year at all.
So what's your shutter speed typically when you're doing butterfly shots?
1,000th of a second. And one of the reasons for that, Robert, is because now with these three in the same family, the monarch, the queen, and the soldier are fairly calm when they're feeding. Their wings are just, you know, they're just there. They move around as they feed. But with let me close this out. The swallowtails.
Yeah, those guys never stop moving.
Yeah,
They just don't.
can you
Yeah,
see
they don't
this?
stop moving. Yeah, yeah.
Can you see this? Okay. All right. So yeah, so this is a This is a giant swallow's tail. And I can't tell you what the shutter speed was, but it wasn't quite fast enough because you can see that the forewing is slightly blurry there. All right, what did I do? Okay, oh, there we go. Okay, giant swallowtail. Tiger swallowtail. Tiger swallowtail. This, I think this is a different species. There's a western swallowtail and an eastern swallowtail. And then there are the males and the females. You can see the difference between this one and this one. This one looks kind of plain. And I haven't figured out which one it is. I think this is the eastern and this is the western. You can see how much more colorful it is.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's just pretty. It's just, just stunning. And you can see, and pretty good detail on this one. You can see the fuzziness, medial on the hind wings and on the thorax there.
Those look like the ones I see in Louisiana all the time.
Yeah.
With that blue around the bottom.
Oh, this right here.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, isn't that pretty? I wish I had one. I don't have any where the background is any good. Every one of them it's just got this, really cluttered background. This is not bad, but I wanted that really pretty, this one with a non-cluttered background. They just don't show up to pose for me very much. Okay, so this is the pipevine swallowtail. Characteristic, large yellow spots on the hind wings. And I don't know if this is the male and the female, you can tell them mostly by the backs of the wings. The males have a nice blue sheen on the backs of their hind wings. So, I mean, and look at the difference. These are the same species, the same kind of butterfly, both pipevine swallowtails. But look at the difference. This is much bluer. This is blue, but it's kind of dull. Maybe the lighting. This is kind of backlit, perhaps. But
That's a young one. That's a young one. The other one's old.
old, young. And the other cool
These
thing
new-
is when you take pictures of butterflies, sometimes you get other insects flying around too.
Oh, wow, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, okay, pipevine swallowtail. This one's pretty sharp. You can tell me, the eyes are shiny on these black swallowtails. And you can kind of gives you a better idea whether you got a good shot or not. So this is the eastern black. Okay, not to be confused with the pipevine. You can see the difference. You can see the difference between the pipevine and this one. There's another one called a spice bush swallowtail, which is easily confused with this eastern black. There's the difference is like one of these orange spots is like a whoosh. That's how they describe it when you read about it. It's like a swoosh, that's what it is. Okay, another giant swallowtail. And you can see this one really is just taking off to start flying. As you can see, it's not touching. So if you have a fast enough shutter speed and you go to take a picture and the butterfly takes off, you might get a picture like this, where it's not touching and it's flying.
Nice.
Okay, so here's another detail wing of the giant swallowtail with this color and the rows of scales. And you can see from the shadow, so the sunlight's kind of tangential. So you see the shadow on this side, right on this side. They're kind of scooped out between the veins. Another pipevine swallowtail. Another tiger, not particularly pretty. Giant swallowtail again. And again, another one started flying. This one, the shutter speed wasn't as fast as that other one, so it's much more blurry. This is probably just 1/500th of a second. Giant swallowtail. Reflection of the light off the eyes. They're just very shiny. And the detail in the antennae. And again, with these guys, you hardly see any palps. There's nothing that looks like palps. But apparently there are little hairs there that kind of serve the same function as the palps. They have something to do with tasting. Giant swallowtail. Let's see, there we go. Love that background, makes it pop. Giant swallowtail. Color.
Wow.
Now, you know, when they, so one of the things I wanted to point out with the swallowtails is that they constantly flap their wings. This one is not too bad. It's fairly sharp. There's probably at least 1/1000th of a second shutter speed. This one, I don't know if I just got the wrong angle or what, but you can see the movement blur there. Another pretty one. Tiger swallowtail. Now this pipevine swallowtail has got pollen on its wings and on its palp here. Now this one's a little dull. This one may be a female also. Or maybe it's old versus young. So this one's a male. You can tell the male by this kind of iridescent blue on the hind wings, on the back side of the hind wings. So this is another eastern black swallowtail, and you can see by the arrangement of the orange spots. This one's had a little damage to the hind wing there. There you can see the damage pretty good there. Not unusual to see damage in butterflies. It just happens. I prefer perfect butterflies than myself, but they do get beat up sometimes. Okay, now here's a straight on one. A little out of focus there in the front. Eastern black swallowtail. Eastern black tiger. Yeah, with that pretty, it's like pretty blue. Just look at that. Yeah, look at that. I wish they would visit more often. Another tiger swallowtail. This is the one that's a little bit dull. This one, this has got to be the eastern black. So this is the way they look from behind. Male pipevine. So two males are after the female here. You can see the two males flying around. Or female. She's just trying to get something to eat. These guys are bothering her, goodness. Anyway, so here's the giant swallowtail.
It occurs to me that 50 years ago, maybe you'd be out there with a net and pinning them to a board.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's just so cool that you can have your collection of butterflies without killing any of them.
Yeah, without killing them. And this particular one shows you that I think, as John was pointing out, that the hind wing isn't always directly moving directly with the forewing. So there's
yeah, the wings are kind of
yeah,
separated. Yeah.
Sometimes you can see that. So this is the giant swallowtail from the back. The distinctive yellow dots on the dark brown or black background there on the wings there, and the little bit of color on the hind wings there. Giant swallowtail, again, giant swallowtail detail. Giant swallowtail. That one came out pretty sharp. I'm pretty lucky on that one. Eastern black, pipevine, tiger, giant swallowtail. A little bit of movement in the wings there. Pipevine, another insect buzzing around there. Now this is interesting. I don't remember when this was, but I just found it as I was looking through my pictures. So this is a pipevine swallowtail hanging onto a water lily that's not open yet, and it's got its swallowtail in water. Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Tiger, Giant. White vine. Eastern black. Oh, that's pretty. Look at that. Like stained glass windows. And you can see the pollen on this one too. Look at how that's a pollen's accumulated on that flooring. Giant, also pollen on this one here.
Hey, guys, real quick, I know Johnny's getting ready to go too.
Okay,
We need to take a second, while we have a few people here, to maybe nail a few things down for the Christmas party.
yes,
So that I
okay,
can get a spot for us if we need to. Can we do that real quick?
yeah, let's do it.
So there was an email sent out by Peter that mentioned Olive Garden, Carrabba's, Umberto's, and the details involved in that. I think the last I heard was Carrabba's had the most votes. John, do you know what's going on with that?
No, I do not.
Okay.
That's why one of the things we're going to talk tonight, I'm hoping to get a lot more people here to settle up, to figure out what we're going to do. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's too bad. I wish there were more people.
Yeah.
we still got competition, not yet, but to talk about it, we probably have more people there to talk about it, but we need to get the reservation set up soon.
Yeah. Well, the last that I talked to Peter, it was overwhelmingly Carrabba's. That's the last I heard. And but
Robbins
there was,
is, to me, is the quietest place anyway.
yeah. Yeah, I agree, it's going to be. The question is how many I'm going to really make a reservation for.
Yeah. Hmm.
Has
I don't
everybody
know.
here
I mean-
responded? Has everybody here responded to these?
I don't know how many people responded because I'm not keeping track of it. Since
We
I
have
was
not
gone,
responded.
Yeah, I need a head count at some point.
Thursday.
We're talking like the
Third
15th of
Thursday.
December or 14th, right?
Yeah, I think we should be fine.
Include us in the numbers too. We hadn't responded. We're not
Okay.
gonna be here on December 1st.
Okay,
So for competition for the judging and stuff, we're not gonna be able to participate. We'll be in South Carolina.
Oh,
so
okay,
Ramses are in.
all right.
John, do you know if you and Susie are coming?
Yeah, and can you
I
take care of
just
it?
hadn't responded yet. I was waiting to see where we're going.
And-
I,
and John-
like I said, so far it's Carrabba's.
I say
Yeah, Let's
McDonald's.
put it this way. I had thought about not going, but Susie said you will go, so I said, okay. But
All right.
she has to go because she has to pay. Okay,
She's
because
the
we
treasurer.
decided that we're gonna do.
Well,
what?
Robert's got a credit card, he could do it too. I mean,
That's right,
but
Robert hasn't
obviously
said
we'd
he's
love to
coming
have.
yet.
Robert is the man.
I mean,
President for life.
So everybody else has responded. Robert, you responded?
yes.
Okay,
On
John,
the,
you know
on
if you're-
the, on the email, I responded, yes.
okay. I'm sorry.
I didn't see the email. I didn't get the
Oh.
email.
Okay, let me kind of give you, I should double check my email. for
Well,
you.
I saw bits of it. I saw there was gonna be a discussion of the Christmas party, but I didn't see something where we were selecting locations.
Well, basically it said, here's the outline of places where we have Carrabba's, Olive Garden, or Umberto's. So those were basically our three choices. Those are three places. that could accommodate us. Huh?
151 and 410.
No, Carrabba's is at I-10 near Days of Olive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Different one.
Yeah,
Like
And
I know of Olive Garden. I go there a lot. Carrabba's, I'm not real fond of, but I will go there. And Umberto's, I've never heard of. So
oh, yeah. I've been a number of times, it's very good, but like I said, I put out kind of all the information out. And I included links for the menus too, so people could look at those.
What's the date? I didn't get the date.
December, I want to say 15th.
15th, it's the third Thursday,
Yeah, I want to double
our
check.
normal competition night.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'll I don't know that I'll be able to go. I'll go wherever the group decides. I'm too new to.
Okay,
If
all right. And Johnny,
December the 15th, yeah.
And that would
Of
be
course,
two.
there could be cake since the 17th is my birthday.
Oh, in fact, you know what,
Ah.
John? I'm gonna show you. I don't know if you can read it, but on my phone, it says on that date, it says, bring cake for John's birthday. It does.
And
Um,
Robert already
on the
knows
fi-
which camera I want, so you could pick it out, you know. I think the club still has enough money to buy it.
I have to step out for a second. You guys keep talking.
That'll work.
So yeah, it's the 15th, and we haven't set a time yet, though, have we?
Mm. No, but, I mean, how about what? Is it too early, like 7 o'clock, 6:30 or so?
We'd rather have 7 or 7:30.
Yeah, because it'll take us a while to get from the work to here to there.
Okay.
You have to move closer.
Not right now, no.
Not
Not
with the
with-
housing prices.
Yeah, I was about to say, not with the housing prices and the mortgage rate. Oh, hell no.
Hey, people keep wanting to buy my house. It's not even my house.
Whose is it?
Susie's.
Oh,
My name's on the mortgage, but it's not my house. She's lived here for 35 years. I've lived here for 12.
mm.
Oh. I'd say
I
about
keep-
7
everybody
o'clock
keeps
sounds
getting the
good.
emails. No, if, I figured, 7, whenever,
Yeah. As early as he let us get there, and like I said, we'll start with ordering around 7-ish or so when everybody's around.
Well, I figured we'd probably get, if we say we said 7, then everybody will get there by 7:30 and we
Yeah.
order at 7:30.
There you go.
It's, if we get 20 people like we had last time. I guess they're gonna, I'm hoping it's not gonna be a big, long table,
Hmm.
so.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think you're saying a long table, meaning that it's just one big long table. It is hard to talk to people that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you end up talking to 2 people. Okay,
Right.
that's.
So that's something to talk about. So if we had 20 people, what if we had 2 tables of 10 next to each other? Like one behind each other so that we could more easily get around to other people.
That's fine as long as they have, if there's not a problem with moving around.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like you don't have to, it's one of the things that when we met at Lions Field, we
yeah,
had all these tables and you sat
Right.
there with 3 or 4 people and you ate, but then everybody gathered around and started mingling and started talking. And
right.
you can't really do that in a restaurant unless you
That's true.
have a separate room.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, one of the things about when I talked to Carrabba's, they did say they kind of have a separate area for larger parties like that. So if we
Yeah.
had, say, 20 people, there may be one other group back there, but we would very possibly have that whole area by ourselves.
Just ask them
which
to
is-
hold it down
Huh?
or wear earplugs because we're gonna make a whole bunch of noise.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Which is great. So I guess what I need to do is maybe have Pete send out another email saying we really got to nail down a head count. I'll call Carrabba's or whoever it is that we're gonna go to, but
Well, let's just go ahead and pick a place and pick Carrabba's, say period, and
Okay.
that's it. Get that out and then find
Okay.
out how many people are coming.
great.
We can put it on Facebook. We can send out emails, whatever.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
And
That
we'll say
sounds good.
7 and start at 7 and maybe order by 7:30.
There you go.
That sounds good. Yeah, yeah.
That way I can have a couple of cocktails and get in the mood.
There you go.
Margarita.
Oh, yes.
It takes a lot to put me in the Christmas spirit, let me tell you.
Oh.
It's not-
I love Christmas.
Like a road trip,
Eggnog.
a road trip.
And then we're doing the round robin gift exchange.
We've talked
So,
about
'cause I
that.
bought one already.
And I think the original idea, somebody had mentioned that they thought it should be like some sort of photography, some piece
Yeah.
of equipment, new or used, minimum $25. The problem with that, I think, is a couple.
I already bought a gag gift, man.
Well, I already bought a different gift, and not just that, but I don't know what I would possibly own here that I want to give to any of you as far as camera equipment. I don't have anything I'm not using, and we all use
This is-
different gear. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
This is my
Different
camera
cameras.
equipment. This is
Give
my
each
camera
other
equipment
as
right
far
here.
as equipment.
I use these a lot, but I haven't used them lately. These are rubber lens hoods.
Yeah, it's so funny that you're saying that because I would love those. So I'm gonna watch
Oh.
what bag you walk in the door with because I'm gonna watch.
I've got 1, 2,
Yeah,
3,
because it
4,
allows
5,
you to
6.
put your lens right up to a piece of glass, right? I mean, that's the point.
I got 6 different sizes here.
That's
So
great. I see that's something I would
and-
love. So yes, let's do that, but I think we should probably make it, it can be a gag gift, it can be whatever you want.
okay.
Yeah, I think, yeah, so just whatever you want.
Okay.
And if you don't want to do the gift exchange, you don't have to bring a gift. You don't participate in the gift exchange. That's fine. I don't want
I'll put
anybody
these in
to
a
feel like
Christmas bag and I'll tell you what the bag is, so you know where to find it, whatever. You know, do a grab bag or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, is it gonna be? I don't remember the term, where somebody opens a gift and you want something
Yes.
else, you can exchange
Yes,
Chinese gift exchange or whatever it is.
yes.
Yeah,
So
it's
somebody
the-
can
it's the-
steal
yeah.
it.
Stealing
Somebody
it,
can
yeah.
steal it. Absolutely. Yeah, you open
They
it
don't-
up,
that-
everyone
that-
gets to see, and then the next person down the line gets a chance to steal it if they want. And then the very first person who went, they get to see if they can choose to steal the last person's gift or not. Because,
Are you gonna put a limit on the stealing?
sure, we
Well,
can do that.
generally it's 1, but it's,
Mhm.
if you have 20 people, and we do families all the time. So the family comes in here and you have a gift, and we kind of do it every year, and it's usually alcohol related or coffee related. So
Ooh,
and
good
if I end up
choices.
with one, it ends up over here hidden so nobody else sees it.
Why?
Type of thing. But yes, if you get 20 times something can be stolen 20 times. If there's 20
Oh.
people.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would take us all night. if
That would
something
take all
was
night,
so
correct.
stupid.
So, but I mean, if you take something and you steal it from somebody else, somebody can steal it from you.
Yeah, yeah. And see, now I do
Okay,
this
so
every
that's
year.
your that gift can be stolen 20 times.
Well, see, now I do this every year with some ladies on the first weekend of December. We've been doing this for a long time. We have a limit of 3 times. The third time it's stolen, it stays.
Yeah, that's how I'm used to seeing
You
these
know, we can
stories.
pick a different number. It doesn't have to be 3, but I know we limit it. Otherwise, we could be there all day doing the gift exchange.
Tell the
you know?
girls don't tell the girls in my family that.
Okay, okay. I'll be quiet. All right, so we want an email that reminds people of the date that we're going to Carrabba's, that we need a solid head count and some details about the gift exchange. Is that right?
See,
Okay. I will
Yes,
wait till Monday to do that. I got stuff going on tomorrow. So I won't do it tomorrow, but I'll do it this weekend or Monday to make sure it gets out to everybody. And I'll
I
talk
was
to
gonna say,
people.
because I'm booked up solid for the next 3 days, and then next
Yeah,
week I'm
yeah.
also booked up. So
Yeah, so I'll call Carrabba's and get that going.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
let you
and
take
just
care of that.
remember, we won't be there for the 30th or the 1st.
What do you
So
mean?
do I
for
need
the-
to run the competition?
for print competition?
somebody does.
Yes, because
Oh, wait a
we're
minute,
gonna be
that's-
out of town.
Is that digital? That's digital. Yeah. Okay. Somebody needs. I'll
Yeah.
run it. I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
We're gonna be
So you'll
going.
need to alter the email. I think I shared the score spreadsheet with you, John. If not, I can.
I do my own thing, man.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is the first. We're gonna judge on the 30th.
Well, we'll
Yeah,
be
that's-
gone. We're
yeah.
leaving like the
I
day
know,
after
but
Thanksgiving.
I'll run the stud judging and the competition. Steve, you're gonna get judges for the 30th.
You're muted, Steve.
Yeah, you are. I see that. There
I
you
had a little
go.
coughing fit there and I didn't want to
Oh,
be loud. Yeah, I'll take care of the judges, John.
Okay.
For scoring on the 30th and comments on the 1st.
Okay. So
That
I'll
sounds
get
great.
something out about that too. I gotta go in the software and and change it to the pictures coming to me then. I gotta make a note, okay?
That seems fair.
I gotta change the website, so I'll take care of that.
Okay, thank you, John. I appreciate it. And I guess we'll work on officers.
We
Whenever,
only have one officer open, and that's president. I mean, but you're vice president now.
yeah.
That's
And
why she has all the gray hair, right?
yeah,
Oh, no, I got those long before I met you.
I got out of the vice president business, it's giving me stomach aches. So
Those are called ulcers.
I know.
Hmm.
I don't need anything else wrong with me. And then Robert needs to get out of the president thing. He's been president for 6 years.
He's such a good one. He's president for life.
He doesn't do anything. I mean, it's typical president. The president doesn't do anything, so it's good. You out of here, Johnny?
I'm going, yeah.
Good night, John.
Good night, John.
Early
Bye.
morning.
Take care,
Yeah.
Johnny.
We'll see you. We'll see you.
Yes, thanks for all the info. There's good discussion about the cameras early. Before most of y'all got here, we were talking about cameras. It was pretty
Hey,
good.
we're always able to talk about cameras.
Yes,
So
talk about cameras and things.
that's what we do
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, hence the name,
Night.
right?
Night, John.
Okay,
Johnny.
Good night. We'll talk to you later, bud.
okay,
night.
bye.
Yeah, there were several people supposed to be here tonight because I had 1, 2, 3, I had 4 guests coming tonight. That apparently didn't show up. So I don't know if it's because I sent out the last message that said I wasn't going to talk or what, but one is a friend of Susie's who's just bought a new camera and has no clue. And I figured somebody's got to be able to, hey, bought a Canon something. I don't know. On the cheap Canons. So
Yeah.
I know nothing about Canon. I said, hey, talk to somebody in the club. I don't know who shoots Canon.
I'm a Canon guy myself.
Yeah,
Guys
Mr.
shoot
Steve.
Canon. So, and then I have another group that I'm run. I don't really run it anymore because I'm not involved, but several people from that club have shown interest in coming to this club. So
Cool.
I keep trying to get them to do that as well, but I haven't had much luck in getting them to show up.
Yeah, I've invited a couple people too that it hasn't panned out.
Well, I don't know. So I guess my talk on travel has been moved to January. I've got 2 more trips in, but then I'll have more travel stuff to do. But
All right.
Well, hopefully we'll have some travel pictures from our adventures.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
really.
Where are you guys
that's
going?
one of the things. Yeah, one of the things I wanted to talk about was, I mean, taking travel pictures and taking travel snapshots are 2 different things. And I used to do travel snapshots, and I still do in a way. I mean, I shoot 4,000 pictures, and I go back and Susie says, "Well, you haven't edited all of them yet." I said, I edited all the ones I want to. So I tuned 4,000 pictures down to 300,
10%.
and
Yeah, that's good.
that's about it. And then out of that, I've done down to 100.
Cool.
So, it is like if you go out and take pictures, and then I've always tell people, one of the things I want to tell people is you go out and you take pictures when you travel, and you can take tons of pictures. But generally, back in the days when I shot film, I would go out and shoot 20, 30 rolls of film when I traveled. 10%, 10% if I was lucky, is the only ones that
Yeah,
came
oh,
out.
yeah. I think that's a good estimate.
And that's the same way with digital, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but digital's a whole lot cheaper
Yeah.
to do that with.
It is. And a lot of times, but I did a lot of pictures this time. This trip was quite stressful because it was a go trip, even though we did everything we wanted to do and we spent time doing it. It was nonstop. I mean, we were up and out of the hotel by 8 o'clock, and we didn't get back till 8 o'clock. And sometimes later.
It's not a vacation.
Yeah, really.
It was a vacation. It definitely was a vacation. And we totally enjoyed it up until the time Susie got COVID, which really sucked. And luckily it was on the last. Our
Yeah, it's on
last
the tail end, which is great.
last excursion. We don't know which one it was. We had 2 excursions in one day. And one of them was a 5-hour one and the other one was a 5-hour one. And one is in the morning, one's at night. And we think it was on one of those 2 trips that she got sick. Because the next day after next, we went on another trip. She didn't feel too good, but she went anyway. But the day after that, she was in the hospital. Well, she went in the hospital. We took her to the hospital.
Wow, that's a bummer to get sick on a trip.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Well, and COVID at that. So even though it was a mild case of COVID, it was the latest strain,
Oh, was it?
whatever that is. We haven't got our
Omicron, something or
vaccines
other?
for the latest one yet. We're supposed to do that next week. Because a new strain, but I think COVID's going to be around. It's kind of like the flu. It's going to be around.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be around forever. It's not going anywhere.
That's
I think
it.
Susie, basically what Susie had was a bad flu. That's
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, she had a
Flu,
cough, she had a
flu,
fever,
yeah.
she had upset stomach and all that kind of stuff, but I go along with flu.
Hmm.
That's it. So I think we're all good.
Nice.
You're gonna send out the emails or whatever
I
we're
don't
gonna
think
do,
so. I think we're good, yeah.
okay?
Okay.
So,
I'll
good
get
for
an
the
email
Christmas
out
party.
next couple days.
I'll get it out for competition in December
Such a dog.
and that's it, I think.
And
Uh,
we have print competition
Yeah, print competition in 2 weeks.
on the 18th, okay.
Yeah,
Competition is
Or
next week,
15th
right?
or whatever, then the 17th. I'll get there.
17th, right.
2 weeks,
Okay, at, what you call it?
yeah, 17th.
And
Yeah,
that's, yeah,
at the
okay.
photo place.
that sounds great.
I'm gonna decide which state you guys want to see my pictures of.
You have lots of good ones.
No, you're
Yeah.
gonna see my, I mean, they're gonna put pictures in the competition, you go, oh, I know that one, that's John's.
You
That's
wanna show
okay.
them
That
You wanna
never
show 'em in
sw- that
January,
never
John?
sways my judging. It never sways my judging, ever.
Well, actually, it's full because this time I have some from this trip, I have some from Amsterdam, and then I
There you
have
go.
some from Budapest, so
There you go.
it's all travel pictures.
Lots to choose from.
Great. Yes.
Fantastic.
Okay.
All right, I guess I'm gonna see you guys, well, Robert and John, I'll see you tomorrow. So we head to